I'm with you, all of my worries seem trivial.
Oh my god! Oh, he sees it too.
You're off the Luxborn firm case. Starting today.
Why?
The temps won't say anything about it, but
It's not that. They're orders. From the higher-ups.
Luke? Find Our Family Friend is still a party hosted by a person of interest, by a man accused years ago of murdering a person's wife to get what he wanted. What? Hey internet, it's Jessica, and welcome back to The Letter. So, now that we kind of get an idea of what Ashton is doing and why he suspects Luke, it kind of makes it easier to understand why he wants everyone to stay away from him, not only for his job, but for the safety of the others, because a lot of weird stuff is happening. So, hopefully we can get more answers and to see if we can find any evidence. Maybe Ashton will finally figure out something, and maybe the chief will... I don't want to hope that he's going to be on Ashton's side, because I'm pretty sure he's working with Luke, but who knows? Anything can happen at this point. Anyway, let's continue. Zach is the kind who prefers to laze around in his apartment on weekends, especially after having a busy week like the last one. The big guy's nowhere in sight, though, when I arrive in his unit. Figures, people don't seem to be where they are when they should be when I need them. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. He usually leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case someone drops by. And there isn't one. He probably just went out for a quick walk. I hope. Maybe he ran out of eggs or something and went to buy some? He is out of eggs after all. He puts my running mind to rest for a while. He always has some, be it for an omelet or something he's baking.
Ash! Should you be rummaging around? It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
chill. I'm just looking.
God, Ashton is one of those nosy friends, isn't he? Actually, I could always go for fucking pie right now, but Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for a few leftovers. All I can do is sigh as I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
But he is the police. Isabella quickly shoots me a sharp glance, and another chuckle slips from me, despite the unease in my stomach. But the cheer only lasts a few mere seconds, mostly because she hasn't been in the mood for any sort of friendly banter. It's a sound that's telling, and a quiet Isabella is usually the first recipe for an incoming shitstorm.
Do you always do this whenever you visit another person's house? Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for a friend, of course, and despite what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the door for a good few minutes now, since we entered Zach's place. In fact, doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. But as much as I want to put her at ease, her nervous tics are starting to get to me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets her hands, clapping them in one moment and infuriating them in the next. It's distracting enough and I want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer though, and the best I can do is help her temper it.
You don't have to hang around the door. You might be here for a while. You can sit down.
She hesitates for a second, but eventually takes the empty seat by Zach's study table.
Aren't we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxborn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
I trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. It's a messy bed and suggests he was out in a hurry. He didn't even bother to fold the sheets. His cell phone's been left behind as well. Oh! Another odd thing when he has made it a habit to never leave it behind in case of a client call. That seems to reassure her, but not so much. Understandably, anything might happen. In hindsight, I shouldn't have left Rebecca alone either. We'll have to check on her later. In the meantime, Zach, but with no clue where he is and no other way to contact him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I could give the room another thorough run-through, but I don't think Zach would appreciate me upending his place. Isabella won't let me do that either. Besides, I haven't even eaten anything yet. Isabella probably hasn't too. We did leave in a hurry, and might as well take this chance to cool down a bit, right? Anything to distract myself so I don't just charge headfirst because of whatever paranoia scheme that comes to mind. Isabella is with me. I can't be reckless. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips and I rifle through the cupboards. After muttering permission and apology to its owner won't hear, I grab it, of course. Isabella doesn't miss shooting me another glare, but she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. She ignores my offer of food though. So instead, I set myself on Zach's old couch and turn on the television. Isabella's silence may not be too heavy, but it sure as hell is awkward. The screen lights up, right as an awful noontime drama starts airing on the Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of the TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. And waste away we did. The afternoon has hit in the last few hours, and when moments come from the other side of the door, and Zach's heavy tread back into the monotonous drivel of the TV. The lock clicks and the knob turns, and slowly it swings open to reveal... and a very exhausted looking Zach. What, did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key
Yes,
himself.
and we're eating his food, too. Light as my tone may be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad happened to one of my friends. If another minute had gone without him showing up, I might have resorted to an unconventional method.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And hey, is that my...
It's scary how the friendly banter can easily come naturally. I do, even without thinking it, and it speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid, however, is the idea that time may come where I might just do these things without meaning to and offend him in some way. The friendship we might have be closer than most and I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. Zach's been respectful of that, so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? I bet he'd say not so much. It also, this easy banter makes me wish that we could just stay like this. No worries, no problems, just potato chips and the debate on whether or not I deserve them. But as usual, something always cuts a moment like this short.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? But it's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Although our tone forces him to do a double take, Zach doesn't push it. The question is all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though. I really do wish I could answer him, despite my best efforts. Isabella is being unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? I can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. It's a good thing Zach has a better handle on the situation than I, and soon enough, he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily a better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She stumbles into one of her uncertain silences again before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the lead in this, but where do we start? The mansion? The strange things that we've been seeing? The letter? Even I'm afraid of what he might say. I can't believe I'm considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
Please don't tell me something happened again.
No, nothing. None so far, and we're keeping it that way as much as possible.
Ash, it's not that easy. This isn't some...
We don't know that. Let me...
Sometimes I amaze myself how much I try for her, but what else can I offer her? I was the first one who brushed her off. We were all given our warnings that day, and despite pleading tone of hers, and I just stood there judging her. This is the least I can do, perhaps even to make up for all those other times I've hurt her.
Let me look at this first, okay? I agreed to help, but you've got to let me handle things from now on.
I already told you everything.
There must be something we're not seeing in this just yet. We'll sort this out, but no more silly ideas and running around on your own. You're making people worry more than necessary. Becca, especially.
So everything's fine?
Depends on who you're asking. How are things with you? Anything odd?
Good, I guess. Admittedly, how things went down at the housewarming party last night threw me off a bit.
I'm not asking about that. Remember the letter thing Isabella's been yapping on about? I'm asking about that kind of odd.
As expected, Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I would too, if there were a universe where I was standing in front of myself, because even as a child I never believed in ghost stories. The lucky charms and the mystical objects from my mother have been stored away, or given as partly gifts to those who appreciate them more.
Well, the dreams, they're a lot worse than usual. There's a woman now, ever since we saw that letter. I don't know if it's the same one Isabella talked about. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I really don't want to go back to sleep sometimes. Last night was the worst.
Yes, I think that was the one where he freaking came into the bed and grabbed him, remember? No, hell no.
Anyway, why are you asking about this?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go on from here? The worried look Zach shoots me away doesn't help one bit in helping gather my thoughts either, when that's what I came here for. Somehow, everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. It's like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabella's warnings, what's occurring around Zach, and what's happening around Luxburn since Isabella found the letter.
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is enough of an answer. Of course he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. The guy supposedly went out as soon as he got out of bed to shake off the images. The memories have never really left him. Isabella, though...
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
That could easily mean anything. Did her kuya, her older brother, end up in jail again? Ooh. She had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all he did was piss her off, not sap out every ounce of her cheer in her. Or is it that other brother, the younger one who keeps insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago, as far as I know. She already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion sale, she earned enough to cover every bill for a while. It should. So what is it then?
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Whatever's bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for a casual discussion, else she would have mentioned it sooner. Tugging my curiosity for later, I take a remote and begin to cycling through the channels. Distraction, not a good one, I admit, but it definitely is better than leaving her to brood. Eventually, I find the one doing a recap this morning's news. And there it is. The poor guy is unidentifiable with how badly his body's been burnt. Murder via arson? That'd be a logical explanation if I was the officer looking into this. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire. The fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxburn police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough if they don't find anything else. That's actually happened before. Like, that's a real thing. That people have, like, just randomly exploded and burst into flames and stuff like that. But what's important for everyone to know is the state of the room.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the...
Like, what happened to Cooper? Hell, I wonder how many other deaths like this that I missed while I've been looking into Wright. The LPD's already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until the consultant of the London Metropolitan? I'm not sure. The Anson Butcher has always been an enigma, even to the people within the city. Gone for a few years, then in the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case is apparently the driven of the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now, this time...
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Her words come out all like a whisper, like each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any other thing we've seen. However, she also has to understand, no, that she isn't the one in this. No one has asked her to take it upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. I sure as hell won't.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Encouragements aside, this is a whole fucking mess, and we're blind to it. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chicken. But I have to have a concrete plan now, I think. Maybe Isabella's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware that I have the idea in mind. For his part, Z-Man doesn't push it, and nothing but heavy silence leads a departure an hour later. Seriously, Zach would probably make more responsible officer than me if he only had the heart to join the force. We could certainly use more kind people like him, but as good as he is, I push Pharrell into my back of my mind as Isabella and I head into my car. Tonight, I can't stay distracted. Except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is quiet, awkward affair. More so, the long-hour wait for nightfall. Even with the only 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy, only a matter of minutes now. But the ticking seconds don't make away from the edge, and for the 5th time I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and tuning the knob with no real purpose. It's a nervous quiver I've developed, and I've never bothered to correct during the stakeouts, something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? The person I usually court on the casual out of the blue chats refer to my attempts to stating one.
Ash, out with it!
The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes, is tough. In spite of the tone she takes, though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since we've arrived.
Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno? You can get in trouble, maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRC out. See if the real estate company has more information that may be of help. Finding things about Cooper and the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde Mansion. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I can also check out the station for full reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way. But I don't want to jump into the chief right now. The guys in the precinct will definitely throw me out of his orders as soon as they see me. None of my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into different places more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will. Especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She has to be very careful when it comes to her work. Almost a model employee, as people would say. Why she is throwing caution in the wind now?
I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wright's mansion. And it stands. I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty company? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it means their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yet you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Low blow, I know. Yeah, that was kind of a dick thing to say, but it was worth the shot when she can still turn her back. It's not like I don't have any means to get back into the place. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks at me with searching eyes. Then unexpectedly it dissolves, not bothering the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees or exactly what she's hoping to find in a short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute, she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again in some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
An appeal, spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her, perhaps not unintentionally, perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything going on lately. It's hard to concede when she has taken down that tone, and soon, despite myself, I sigh. Tucking away every concern I've been lugging around, in favor of trusting her on this, according to her in the same confidence she's implicitly giving me at this time.
Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
Oh my god. Her lips briefly turn up into a smile, though none of the cheering reached her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow, the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intends to some kind of comforting gesture. Whether it's from me or her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car, while I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already on the other side of the entrance, hand raised to the card reader beside it, and another poised to push the door open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt she has been in fact faced a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, and the things might go smoothly this time.
And where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell with the voice alone. He might be a wary sort, for all I know it. Keeping an unconcerned face and aloof air won't hurt, until I figure out how to wiggle us out of the situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a trouble. He's probably been working here for a few months already then, maybe around 4 or 6 months max. Otherwise, he would have recognized Isabella or me at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I've been signed to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of the security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. For the moment, he's too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough!
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez!
You were closer the first time?
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. This geezer's not going to be the last part of his month. He can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
No.
Still a ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know, just let me handle this. Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Who, me?
My what?
Your boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
It's a fair observation if I do say so myself. Needless to say, the silence that descends them both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter is probably coming mostly from me, because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Laughs. Lighter than the ones I've heard her lately. A comforting sound, really, after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning. Even as all this subsides into a mere chuckle sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it. Despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp.
Oh.
Poor Ashton.
Oh, no. No.
Awkward.
He's definitely not my boyfriend.
She might as well have set the fire and reduce it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did she really have to put it up that way?
That's impossible. Stop being funny, Seb. I'll go on ahead, okay?
She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through the stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me.
Not the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Mind your own business.
Oh!
Kids these days. Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Excuse me?
You know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
If I'm going to be stuck here with him for a while, I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can. He may have just been a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time people like him are the ones who know more than they let on. That's true, because they're like security, or they're like the people in the background, like janitors and stuff like that. They see things because nobody really bothers them, right?
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
Dunno, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Oh, seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy. Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Girlie called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Girlie? Isabella?
It's not too surprising, considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another? Not that it's a bad thing, it's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least he could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Wait, what?
The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action, all employees, all of it ceases to matter in an instant. Almost on instinct, my eyes zeroed in on the intercom speaker as if it's staring daggers at me to show the man behind the voice so I can see the truth in his face.
Oh, you don't know?
Did her dad die?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, you know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say. Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
He's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I was someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day.
Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Wait, did the dad actually die? That's sad!
Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by...
He cuts off the connection before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies on my throat. Soon the latch clicks and the side door swings open. The Seb, a strout man, wearing all uniform still lives for him, waves at me for over in the gap before he disappears behind the station again. Just my luck. Here I thought I'm going to have to court on whatever Isabella brings with her. Although, no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else is already taking a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, as I step into the building, I try to push all of these questions far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. But what if I heard is exactly what I'm thinking it is? If it's a sign of things to come? Honestly, I don't feel too good about that. Oh no. Oh no, it's this basement elevator. Oh, I have a bad feeling the girl's gonna be here, right? The ghost girl? It's quite a ride up to the 7th floor, where the BRC Luxburn main office is. Sam has been kind enough to switch the gas elevator power on just as I'm about to head to the fire exit stairs, which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. There probably won't be any trouble in the building this quiet, but you never know. You never know! There may be a demon ghost girl coming at you! I swear, the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But until I've confirmed everything, those are just still stories. Worst thing can happen, no need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes.
Oh, I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm breaking a lot of laws here. I'm also putting Isabella in a lot of risk. Best thing I can do come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. Worst case scenario? 1. Someone finds out Isabella's involved in this and her boss fires her. 2. I find evidence that would imply BRC or Luke right in a crime, and my meddling, if not careful enough, makes it admissible in court. Though, I'll be honest, I strongly prefer losing my job or facing right over some spite or a ghost or whatever it is. I could always work around the problems with the former. Isabella could always find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly despite her efforts, but fighting off a phantom? How does even one do that? Do guns even work with them?
Yeah, not going to happen.
No! I'm pretty sure you can't shoot a ghost, Ashton! But tonight, I'm here to fix things. If I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. Oh, I'm scared. I'm so scared right now. Oh, God! What I'll probably never be good at is finding a proper words when the snitch calls for it. But seeing Isabella smile from beyond those doors, how she pushes through this despite carrying an entirely different burden this time, how she pretending as if everything's normal, it's difficult not to try. People who have never looked beyond her smiles will never know, will never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not yet aware of this. I get it, we all have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself after all. But it's all in her eyes once she glances up a few light raps I give at the door. She wastes no time in leaving the mess of papers on the table and open for me. Though, even in her confusion she takes in my presence barely hides it.
Seb, let you in?
The rough edge in her voice rings in a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing it's a different from hearing it straight from her, I simply can't bring this up, can I? It's not a topic suited for casual conversation, and I doubt she wants to talk about it with me. As much as I want to help, there's a distance between us I'll never be able to cross. One that wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps if I had been more honest years ago and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Figures I couldn't even do that with one person I keep telling myself I care deeply about.
What can I say? I'm a very charming person.
To a rock, maybe?
This is the closest we can get to. I suppose the light banter, the fleeting glances, or sometimes the long bouts of silence. And it's enough. For me it is, because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy.
Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, get over yourself.
Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am helping you out.
Helping? By standing at the door?
Well, you're not exactly letting me in.
Despite what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. She must have expected this the second we walk up to the building's entrance and counted on the night shift guards to bar me in the place. It's reassuring to know that she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides, her concerns aside, I really can't let her get into the thick of it without me. Not all of the problems are on her plate right now.
Isabella?
Seriously, Ash. Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
At least do it for Seb, please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here, he's...
On that I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow. Might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. I hate to see the guy leave here with a bad record in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious look she shoots me back at the table behind her begs an even bigger worry.
Did you find something? Aside from what you told me about yesterday?
No, what is it?
Not yet.
Okay. I thought the girl was there. I'm like, please no.
I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me in rows.
Let me see.
Wait, Ash!
Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here. Even Sep. I'll make sure we leave the place clean.
Her hesitation's still there, a split second of indecision as she tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office. Clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
Don't worry, that's the plan.
It appears to reassure her. A nod, then shortly she gestures to follow her. Passing the sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office, a force of habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC Luxburn used to own this whole building. Offices in several floors once upon a time, when the real estate is still a lucrative business for the company in this side of the country. Then competition showed up and suddenly everything's not so good anymore. It only got worse over the years went by, or so according to the rumors. Now, the branch is just a floor, despite the huge sign in the building's facade says. And frankly, it's not too hard to believe when no one is looking at the state of this room right now. A number of desks can be cleared out. Personal mementos and scarce of the employees have gone to Exodus. That'll be the downsizing, probably. Still worrisome, though. Of course, I shake away all that was when Isabella starts handing me papers she has been looking through. Focus, Frey. There's no point in whining or dwelling on it any longer. That's why we're here in the first place, to find out what the real deal is the old-fashioned way. Isabella's presence is a whole other blessing, too. I couldn't imagine how long this would take if I pushed going in here alone.
Is this everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
Bring them here. Everything that has to do with the mansion's sale. Even those who worked on it during the renovations. The cleanup. Everything. Including your mandatory sign-in sheets.
It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it enticed a laugh from her before she heads to the record room. She remembers, and no matter how weak a sound of it forms in her usual ones, it's a welcome thing to hear. It reminds me that Isabella I know is still there. She returns a minute later with a thick slack of folders and binders. Okay, so Ermengarde Mansion stuff! For the next half hour, we work to complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in folders. Not an easy task considering how thick the whole thing is, but there's the two of us. In fact, Isabella does most of the work, sorting the contracts, the employees list, and stuff that we won't need in a neat pile. Just the files for restoration alone makes up a stack of papers an inch thick. Third-party service providers hired for the Manasori, radiators, woodworking, plasterwork, slate roofing, and the whole bunch of other things that are well documented. Hell, every single contractor who worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just due to the plumbing. It's a high-profile and high-cost estate, alright. But with that scope comes the loopholes, meaning plenty of room to hide something in if there's something fishy going on. All I have to do is find a pattern, and it doesn't take long. Upon closer glance, despite the original owner shouldering the renovation costs, it'll be surprising if they manage to break even on the Ermengarde Mansion. With the additional expenses for the open house, the commissions for their agents and other overhead fees, at the point of negotiation to get the list under the BRC name, almost broke down too. Some disagreement about the listing price. The owners wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible while keeping the worth at a profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraisal has suggested. This, plus the rumors that their branch is closing? BRC Luxburn really is in the red, and the sale they mentioned could easily have been a desperate move to keep the branch afloat.
No wonder the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No. They took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I didn't even know until I read this. I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she... Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me. Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this. There's only so much they let us know. After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest. The rumors are true. Huh.
Seems so.
Sheesh, this place is just unlucky, going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening. But isn't this what we're looking for? What we need is the who, the people aside from Isabella and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion, and how they are now. We can't just do with the outside contractors. They won't be on file. The employee list, on the other hand, even with two people working while the pile, the whole task will take quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later, and we put down the papers with a sigh and move on to the clients upon Isabella's insistence. For that, in the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Something that gives me a laugh is when I spy a fake name I wrote on the sheet list. What did he write?
Why'd I even pick this name? It sounds so lame.
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have. We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything.
She snatches the paper away before the thought of it hiding occurs to me. Not that there's much secret in it. Isabella found me that afternoon anyway, but still.
Ashley?
I've been careless that day, trailing Luke right without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler is terribly efficient with keeping in the rights engaged from the public eye, there were other ways if he'd given the time in my day. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that'll crack the case and be done with it. Maybe my fatigue goes far back to the day of the open house, not during the party last night.
Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously? Ashley? Were you even trying?
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
It worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh?
She responds with a rolling of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely of shoving the paper back into my hands. We glance back to our respective tasks afterwards, wordlessly skimming through everything. Read, set aside, get another one. Looking back in the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke Wright and Hannah Wright's list at the top. Not that I don't know about them already, of course, but scanning through the list, a name immediately comes to my attention.
Madeline Williams.
Madeline Williams? Who's
Something
that?
wrong?
Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed here.
She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes a careful read of the sheet. There's a long moment before she speaks up again, but from the way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst already.
What about her?
She was with me, in the group following Cooper, when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean. Rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic. Kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
Then, do you? Do you think she's...
She was reported missing 3 days after.
Oh, no! There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family filed it. Threats were naturally given, and the lack of progress days later, desperate ones. Her family is willing to shell out all the cash they have just to find her, to no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he's spoken to them, but what can he do? What can we do? He's tied. We're all tied. There's only so much we're able to do with everything that has been shoved into our hands recently.
She still hasn't been found. It's already been a week.
Isabella makes no further comment aside from a nod. Instead, she sits back in her chair with a distant look in her eyes, her hands balling into a fist. She's struggling with her frustrations? Or maybe it's anger. But the moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens as she folds her hands back onto her lap. Her expression, however, it's one that I've seen too many times in the mirror. What does one say to the person burdened not by loss, but many, who carries it in her shoulders like a badge of shame? I've yet to find the answer to that myself. Until then, the only way is forward, pressed to see where our attempts at fixing mistakes might lead us. And despite our own doubts, a glimpse of that look on her face isn't enough to reason for me. I can't just give up. There's too much at stake, too much to lose. With a renewed focus, I continue. On the third of the last sheet, I spot another one, Beatrice Wilde. One I recall from the newspaper obtrusitaries? I don't know. Died of a heart attack. A letter of correspondence expressing the condolences to the family confirms as much as in her files. Passed away at the age of 74 in her sleep.
She's at that age. It certainly could have been a natural death.
Right? I'd like to believe so, but 3 more letters turn up when I rummage through the stack, and it leaves nothing but more than a foreboding feeling in me. They're all letters addressed to the families of clients who have passed away in the past week. Regardless, these go into a pile of things worth looking into after our visit here, along with the Williams info sheet. There are just too many names, so many faces, each one that I've seen that day, and here I am wondering if they're all alright. So wait, every single person who was at the open house, aside from Ash, of course, because he did a fake name, they just all of a sudden disappeared. Is that what Hannah was saying to Marianne? Remember when she was just like, oh, not Marianne, Rose, sorry. They could get the house now. We'll just have our lawyers do it. But maybe she doesn't know, and Luke's like, don't worry, I'll call the lawyers and they'll get rid of everything. And that was his hitman to, like, kill these people, to be like, no one's buying the house except for the rights. Is that what happened? It isn't the selfish thought that brings a question in mind, rather the logical one. If more of them are still alive, the more people I can choose to question. Nothing concrete yet, of course. These are just speculations, but we're making progress. Once done with the sign-in sheets, I stash it along with the growing pile to my left and pull out as many of the other documents Isabella has already prepared for me. We're working through the employee list now, those who have been assigned to the mansion. Because if Isabella was to be believed, if what she has seen and what happened to Rose Cooper is because of the letter, I need to know everyone who possibly read it aside from the 3 of us, if they've been noticing strange things too. For all I know, these may have just been terrible coincidences. Although the thought of this starts to diminish as we dig deeper into BRC's company files. 15 minutes later, the sack closes to the elbow and rises from 5 to 21 different dossiers. Clients and employee documentation. People who have either visited that open house or worked on the property in some capacity since the letter's discovery. Turns out there were 2 more employees who handled the mansion directly, aside from Cooper and Isabella. Kristen Tsai, the realty specialty of Mark Julius Jean-Marie, the estate appraiser.
This C guy.
Oh, C,
he was
sorry.
in custody just the other day.
Really? Sir John has been looking for him. He stopped reporting to work a few weeks ago. Are you sure it's the same person?
Yep, this is him. Folks at the precinct said they went to his house after a noise complaint. They found him just acting all crazy. Had to take him in when he started getting violent. He kept screaming about a woman.
Oh, immediately she stiffens. I don't want to bring it up or imply a connection to Isabella's story, but that's exactly what
It
happened.
was driving the guards mad, but he didn't last too long in there. A few hours in, and he just started bashing his own head against the wall, and, well, it was messy, to say the least.
Oh my god!
Oh no, we had no idea. Is he okay? HR just marked him as AWOL because none of their calls would get through.
He's in the hospital right now. I heard they're putting him into a psychiatric ward as soon as he recovers. He's still a bit unstable.
Jean-Marie, on the other hand, his employee filed notes his dates of leaving and even when his final pay had been given. Along with it, there's a letter to the family about his appraiser being found dead in the office. Communication is hush-hush, and there's a mention of compensation if they don't talk about it to the media. Inspector Abigail has often scolded me for not reading these reports on a regular basis, but I try to keep up to date as much as I can. When I do, I make sure I'm aware of the gist of what's going on in my own city. This has never reached the police's ears or in the health and safety executives.
Do you know about this guy?
One glance at her says everything. They've hidden it from the media. They keep it from the police. It's not surprising that this is also a secret for someone of Isabella's position in this company. Fuck.
Rose was looking for him. Last week.
Is that the dude she was looking for that she
We haven't
died?
heard anything from him either. Until now. They never mentioned this to us.
Business going under and someone dies while they're working here? Of course they want to keep it quiet. It's bad publicity. The whole thing is just getting freakier by the minute. Nevertheless, I hand the files for Isabella to make a copy of.
The pages with their names, addresses, and contact numbers will do. We'll start with the ones who live within the city.
Sometimes there are things you really can't brush off as a mere coincidence. In my line of work, once pattern pops up, it's only right to be suspicious. Especially if the thing with C, it hits so close to stuff of my own friends that have been telling me.
All of this?
It's considerably thinner than the one she brought in, yet somehow, the way she hugs the folders close to herself makes it seem heavier. Like she's hanging on to the same manner one will latch onto a lifeline.
Only the noteworthy ones.
And those that might still be alive she doesn't need to know that.
We can't check the outside contractors, but the guys with the direct connection to BRC and the people who attended the open house should be enough. We don't have time to see how everyone's doing, especially if what you said is true.
For a second, she appears about to argue, then quickly decides against it and hides it away before anyone reads the question on her face. Then, into an abrupt motion, she turns towards the copier and gets to work. Soon, only the machine's constant thumb fills the air around us, while I keep myself busy cleaning the mess we made. The lack of talk is awkward, to put it mildly, disturbing at worst. I've gotten used to just letting her babble away whenever it's just the two of us. I could tell, however, she wants to do more. She wants to fix this mess herself, and the desire makes her antsy. But at the same time, she's learning how not to be impulsive or stubborn, exactly as I told her yesterday before agreeing to any of this. Or maybe these so-called changes have always been with her. Dire situations have always pushed people to change after all. Although seeing this happen in front of me only makes it difficult to find the proper thing to say. In the atmosphere of this tense and charge, what is left for us to talk about? Certainly not the news. What's worse is when you only realize it all in hindsight right after you've already run your mouth off.
You know, for a house your company seems to be in a hurry to sell, they still made quite a fortune out of it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3... 6. Are you sure they're planning to give your entire share for this? This isn't a small amount, especially given the usual cut. And their accounting department isn't in the greatest shape either.
Even if they don't, it's not like someone still needs it.
And there's a reason why people don't let me talk. Silence once again descends through the room, denser compared to the ones we've shared tonight. Behind me I can hear her movements, sharp and precise, while she feeds the original to the machine. Then, one last click and all of it stops. Her feet shuffled lightly against the floor when she moves away, something creaking softly, probably the table, as she settles her weight against the side. By this time, an apology's already at the tip of my tongue, but what?
Belle, I'm...
Papa's gone, Ash.
No! Within those scant few seconds, everything between us shifts and the gravity of her words sinks. Right then and there, something harsh and immovable rises between us. Death is something I'm familiar with. Almost 10 years in the police force, and it's impossible not to get acquainted with it. But this is different from those dead bodies we examined in forensic, a far cry from the victims we found in the bad investigation. Those I could easily distance myself from. No emotional attachments, no need for pretenses. Yet somehow I find myself grasping for things to tell her, any words of comfort that'll dull the pain. Because even without looking at her, her grief feels palpable enough, her pain, an immutable weight hanging over us. So I gently offer, just stay busy, tell me about him. Okay, don't saying just stay busy doesn't always work about it. I can tell from her she wants to say it because she's the kind of person who wants to like say what's wrong, but she doesn't want to do it because she thinks she's annoying people. She's scared of that unless someone says, tell me what's going on, then she'll like say it. So I think we should tell... Let me save. Tell me about him.
When?
Huh? When what?
Your dad. I mean, when did you find out?
She doesn't answer. Not immediately, anyway. For a long moment, the hush simply stretches out before us, spanning across the seconds we let pass while we simply both stand there waiting. Eventually, she exhales. Lightly, muted enough that I missed it, had I not been paying attention to her every movement.
Yesterday, around 3 in the afternoon there, Mama called. She told me he passed away in his sleep, and I guess I can take comfort in that, huh? That Papa wasn't in any pain when...
She trails off, releasing another ragged breath hidden underneath her chuckles, each one's mirthless, heavy with nothing but sorrow. Then she falters into silence, and for my attempts at lightening her burden, I'm suddenly at a loss. Reassurance is the only so much I can do, when her only reason for staying here has suddenly been taken by her, a hope yanked from underneath her feet right after it was generously given. And without the one person who pushes for her to endure all this shit she's going through, means nothing but a struggle. What does one say to a person fraying at the edges, slowly weaving thin and breaking? Are words even enough? What right do I have anyway? I can't give her anything, apart from lies that change me as a person, and affection she may or may not even want herself. Because no matter how easy she has warmed herself in our lives, how immutable her presence has become, her own heart will always yearn for something else. For home.
Tell me about him.
Huh? About what?
Your dad. Tell me about him. Anything. Just talk. Say anything you want. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen.
Silence again, as if she's testing the weight of the question for what purpose it is, for a reason even I can't even say right now. After a while, though, she starts, reluctantly, her voice hitching, faltering, and stumbling one on each syllable as she chooses her words. A rough start, but soon it steadies. And along with it, to keep company from the stories of her childhood and memories she fawns of. Our tears. No! I feel bad! I don't like this. Poor Isabella! Dude, she has to deal with like crazy demon ladies and like her friends dying and stuff like that, then her dad dies. Despite this, in spite of the grief choking out of her, the hurt closing in her throat, and the sobs wrecking from a lithe form, she continues, like the mere act of speaking in relief of itself. A release. She tells me of her father, the very person who named her, how she looked up to him, how she was a very bit of a tomboy growing up in attempts to imitate him, and how the man encouraged her to pursue what she really wanted, perhaps even the only thing she ever did for herself, having grown up and not wanting anything more than food on their tables.
He told me I don't have to listen to them, that I can do what I want. Every day, he'd wake up at 4, Ash, because he'd earn more that way. And every single time, he'd give them to me. Whatever extra he earned, he'd hand them all, so I'd have something to use for my paintings.
That's so sweet. I'm gonna cry. No.
And you know what? Back home, just a good tube of paint costs almost as much as what we spent for food the whole day. But he'd always set something aside. Told me he wanted to see my paintings in a museum one day.
Oh, what a good dad! She pours it all out, every little thing she loved and admired about him. Like this, it's easy to see why she has gone to such great lengths for him, why she abandoned her dreams, why she went against his wishes just to grant him another chance at life. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither are the whole truth of her either. Because those who have never bothered to look beyond the surface will never see it, see her. See someone earnest, someone who has always meant well, despite her underlying stubbornness. This is how she loves, warm, steadfast, unflinching. You may never meet many people like her, not in the line of work, not like the kind of people I had to deal with. Always with something to hide, always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you run across too many of them, you change, you become like them. In many ways, for a lot of reasons, she's the kind of person I want to be and be around with, who made me feel I am still worth of something.
He didn't want me to leave. Said, begged. I could finish my studies first. In the end, I couldn't even grant him that one request. I'm a terrible daughter.
No, you're not!
You're not.
Huh?
What? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh no, is he gonna confess? Yo, if they confess, holy crap, something nice in this game.
You're not. I can't speak for your dad. I haven't even met the man. But I know you're not.
I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. The remark just came out, and now I'm stringing all of these together as I go. But one of these things is for certain, none of what I'm about to say is a lie.
The Isabella I know is a total klutz, but I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. She's the type who wears her heart on her sleeve. Though it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's always in the right place. She's intimidated by a lot of stuff, but she knows how to appreciate the smallest things in life. Frankly, you've caused us no small amount of trouble since you barged into our lives. But when I'm with you, all of my worries seem trivial.
Oh my god! He has already crept up my face when the turn of this whole thing is about to take registers. Before I blur out the rest of it, declaring feelings I'm not even ready to reveal to anyone, much less for her, my hand covers up the smother of the rest of it. Through embarrassment quickly takes the reins before I can completely clamp my mouth shut.
And I'm pretty sure Zach and Becca think the same way.
Oh, shut up, Ashton! Way to cover it! He's just like, yeah, don't forget about our other friends. They feel the same way about you.
You have a nasty way of growing on people like that, and you know what? We got everything we needed in here.
Oh my god.
I'll just wipe the security recordings and we're good to go.
Dude, you could have confessed to her, be like, I'm in love with you!
While I'm at it, you better wipe the snot off your face. And you don't look very nice when you're balding like that.
God damn it, Ashton! Okay guys, I'm gonna end this episode of the letter right here. So obviously it went up with Isabella. I actually do want Ash and Isabella to get together, but it's a matter of Ashton not being an idiot and just actually like expressing how he feels. But I understand why he's not, because he's trying to protect everybody to not get involved in case they get in trouble or something like that, or worse, killed. I feel really bad for Isabella because her dad died. I didn't even think about like maybe her dad died. I just thought like it's because of the ghost girl, but yeah, her dad passed, so that really sucks. But now they kind of have a lead. All these missing people from the open house have gone missing, so maybe we can find someone and ask what happened, or if they know anything, or if someone like came up to them and be like, don't buy the house or we'll kill you, because that seems to be like Luke's style, you know. But regardless of that, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of The Letter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Is this dude just straight up naked? I am face to the face. Uh-oh, there's people. Oh no! Nightmare confirmed. Should I say hello? Do these people say hello to one another?